Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going for a walk with my Mamiya 7. This guy. Now, one of the reasons I really like it is because it's a rangefinder. It's kind of easy shooting. You don't need to set frame and all of this. You can just kind of, a bit like I'm going to do today, just go for a walk and take some nice photos. So to begin with, a few little things about the Mamiya 7. So this guy shoots 6x7 medium format. So that means we only get 10 shots. So the plan is today is to show you all 10 shots that I take, and we'll just kind of see what happens really. So we're going to be shooting today with a 65mm lens, which is the full frame equivalent of a 35mm lens. So we're going to be walking. So the walk we're going on today is just one near my house. I kind of go on this walk an awful lot. And the film we're going to be shooting is Fuji 400H. Now, I don't really have any experience with this film. I'm guessing it's going to be sort of like bright Fuji greens, that sort of thing. But the main reason I'm shooting it is I bought it off Amazon and realised it only actually had 2 months life. So I need to get through it really. So I think this is going to be my second time shooting the film. But so we'll just see what we get. Weather-wise today, it's quite sunny, but there's quite a lot of cloud in the sky, so it keeps changing, which is a little bit frustrating. Good thing with the Mamiya is it does have a built-in meter. It's actually really quite good as well. So we'll be using that an awful lot today because my Sunny 16 isn't that great, so I do rely on this quite often. So guys, I really like this scene behind me, so I don't know if you can see, but the textures in this field look really quite cool. So it'd be interesting, I think, to see how the 400H actually picks them up. There's a couple of animals in the field as well. There's a pheasant down in the bottom of the photo, so it'd be interesting as well with the medium format to see if we can actually pick them up. So I'm going to get that shot now. This next photo, I quite like how the trees kind of frame the shot. Now, it's going to be a good little test for the Fuji film as well because the sky's quite bright and the foreground's quite dark. So we're going to get to see sort of like what the exposure latitude is. Because I want all of this shot in focus, I'm going to make sure I set a decent f-stop. It's quite windy as well, so I want quite a decent shutter speed. So this is where that ISO 400 is really coming in handy. So we've got the quick shutter speed and the big depth of field. So here we go. One of the things I really enjoy about this walk as well is that it's quite a quiet woodland area, so there's loads of animals. Annoying thing is, with I guess sort of medium format, it's really good for wide photos, but there's not really that many long lenses. They sound like they're a long focal length, but by the time you factored in the size of that frame, then they end up being quite short range. So that's one of the downsides of shooting medium formats. It's fine for sort of like your landscape photos, and I guess it's quite good for street photography as well. Just sometimes if you're trying to shoot wildlife, it can be really frustrating. Often you're better off having a smaller frame so that you're really making the most of the zoom. Because even on this camera now, I doubt I'm going to be able to get that deer in the photo. But yeah, I'll try and take some nice wildlife photos if I can with this camera rather than with Mamiya. But yeah, no, let's carry on walking. So another thing that I really like about the Mamiya is that it has an exposure compensation dial. Now, everybody's used to this on their sort of digital DSLRs, but from a film camera point of view, it's something that's quite often missing. So it's something that I really enjoy, because with film, you're an awful lot better off overexposing than you are underexposing. So I quite often just set it on like plus half a stop of exposure. That way I just shoot how it says, but knowing that all my photos are ever so slightly over, not underexposed. There's a shot here that I always say to myself, I should definitely bring a wide lens and shoot. So I think it's possible to get that direction and that direction all in the same photo. Annoyingly, the 35mm equivalent on this isn't wide enough to capture this. Do you guys have shots like this where you think to yourself, I know I should shoot this, but you just never seem to have the right gear to do it? So I think we're going to try and make use of the medium format shallow depth of field here. So I'm going to shoot this at f4, and the light hopefully going up through the tree is going to make a bit of a bokeh effect, but I guess we'll find out. Now, it might be quite hard to expose, and The Mamiya's got quite a close focusing distance of 1 meter. So yeah, let's just see how this turns out. Quite looking forward to see this one. So that's one of the reasons that lots of people shoot medium format, is the fact that the depth of field is so shallow. If any of you have gone from a crop sensor to a full frame sensor, you know exactly what I mean by this. But when you go to medium format, some of the bokeh is amazing. So even though this is only shooting at f.4, the equivalent at full frame, I don't know what the equivalent is for full frame, but the depth of field on that photo should be really shallow. Now hopefully throughout the rest of the walk we'll get some bit more sun, because it's a little bit dark here, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, let's carry on. Found another one just here that's also quite brightly lit, so I think I'm going to try and shoot that one as well, just whilst it's in the sun. I think we'll really briefly talk about the cost of medium format. So a typical roll of film can cost anywhere sort of £8 to £15, which is actually really similar to the 35mm, except for the fact you get, well in my case today, 10 photos rather than sort of 36. So as long as you shoot a roll of film in sort of the same length of time you'd shoot a roll of 35mm, then to me I'm kind of getting the same out of it, even though it's, I guess per shot it's a lot more expensive, but I'm still only going to shoot one roll a walk. So it really depends on what I want from my walk today. And today I'd quite like some nice quality photos, because I really want to see what this film does. So a lot of people can talk quite negatively about the cost of medium format, but I think it depends a lot on your perspective. Yeah, it's just something to bear in mind. It's quite expensive per shot, but if you're only going to shoot one roll on the same walk, it's cost you the same amount. Now I'm not sure if you guys can see, but the light behind me is really quite interesting. The shadows cast from the tree. I don't know if you can see that in sort of this area here. So I'm just going to quickly grab a shot of that. The Mamiya has really good features on it that stops you taking photos of things like if you've got the slides in the way and stuff like that. But something it doesn't do, and partly because of how rangefinders work, it doesn't tell you if you've got the lens cap on. So that photo I just took then and moved on from, it definitely had the lens cap on. So I'm gonna have to take that photo again, but I guess it means I'm gonna end up with 9, not 10 photos at the end of this. So yeah, my bad. Bit of an amateur mistake that. So yeah, just had to retake that shot. I'd like to pretend accidents like this don't happen, but to be honest, it's something that I do regularly. I do it quite often with my digital cameras, but at least when you put them up to your eye you can't see. Now, that could be one of the downsides really to a rangefinder. So due to not actually looking through the lens of a rangefinder, you don't actually know whether the lens cap's on. And it does something very, very similar in terms of how it meters. It doesn't look through the lens at all. So examples like that really, you don't know because you can't see through it. Now with a SLR, for example, where you actually look through the lens, I'd have looked through the viewfinder then and just seen black, wouldn't I? But I didn't, because it's a rangefinder. So kind of one of the negatives, but just don't be a bit of an idiot like me, really. So one of the things I like most about this walk is this part. So this whole area here is actually a section of water meadow. Now there's lots of sort of insects, frogs, that sort of things. It's one of the protected areas around here. But there's a tree right here that we're going to go and take a photo of. It's kind of just stood out on its own, and I really like it. I've taken so many photos of this tree. I'm probably talking near enough 1,000 now. But I've not actually shot it on medium format film before, so I think that would be a bit of fun. So let's go and have a look. Cool, so I made it to where I want to take the photo. It was actually quite easy. There was quite a few animal tracks that I could walk down and along, so that made it a bit easier. But there's the tree there. You can see the sky's quite bright, so we might struggle in terms of capturing this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my overexposure setting that I have. I'm going to put it back to 0. And I'm going to meter for the tree, and then I'm going to meter the sky, and I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, but again leaning towards over rather than underexposing. So yeah, I'm going to go take that photo now. So yeah, guys, this Mamiya 7 is a camera that I really love. It is quite heavy, so I don't take it everywhere I go. That's why I've got the Rollei 35 that I use quite a lot. But when I really want to take good photos, this is the camera that I always bring along with me when I'm shooting film. The 6x7 format I love, the rangefinder I love. It's got a great selection of lenses, it's got quite a portable body. There's literally nothing about this camera that I really don't like. And I always think that says a lot, because normally I find cameras, at least something in it is a bit of a compromise. And genuinely with this camera, there's nothing that I don't like about it really. So yeah, if you guys have got any questions about the Mamiya, just drop me a comment below and I'm sure I'll be able to help answer it. Cost wise, I think I paid about £1,200–1,300 for this, including the lens. So they're not cheap at all. But like I said, it's one of these cameras that I don't really feel like I'm compromising everything. At the end of the day, this is the camera that I use when I want to take really high quality photos, and when you do that, even in the digital world, you have to have a big body for that. So although these are expensive cameras, I don't feel like there's anything out there that I would rather have that fits this part of my photography needs.